Hello everyone. My today's topic is tumors of thyroid gland, WHO recent update of 2017. Introduction to the topic. This is the fourth edition which was published in the year 2017 and it contains significant revisions of thyroid tumors. New pattern of classification is given here. An important group called as borderline tumor group is added. A new histological variant of papillary thyroid carcinoma is given. And follicular carcinoma is divided into three important groups. Hurdle cell tumor presents as a separate entity. Poorly differentiated thyroid carcinoma and oncocytoma, they are recognized as distinct entities. And Turin criteria is given for the diagnosis of poorly differentiated thyroid carcinoma. And the flow of tumors in this edition are as follows. Adenomas, followed by tumors of uncertain malignant potential, then carcinomas, paragangliomas and mesenchymal stromal tumors, hematolymphoid tumors, germ cell tumors and secondary tumors. Coming to the actual classification of thyroid tumors in new edition, it includes follicular adenoma, hyalinizing trabecular tumor, other encapsulated follicular pattern thyroid tumors. This entity is a new group and it is also called as borderline tumors of thyroid. So I'll discuss these entities in detail in my coming slides. Then comes the papillary thyroid carcinoma with its variants: follicular thyroid carcinoma, Hurdle cell tumors, poorly differentiated thyroid carcinoma, anaplastic, squamous cell, medullary, mixed medullary and follicular thyroid carcinoma, mucoepidermoid carcinoma, sclerosing mucoepidermoid and carcinoma with eosinophilia, mucinous carcinoma and other tumors. Then comes the paraganglioma and mesenchymal stromal tumors, hematolymphoid tumors, germ cell tumors and secondary tumors. In the earlier classification of 2004, thyroid tumors were classified as thyroid carcinomas, which include all these carcinomas of the thyroid. Then the second group was follicular adenoma and related tumors, which include follicular adenoma and hyalinizing trabecular tumor. Then it was parathyroid tumors and other thyroid tumors. So this classification is totally different from the earlier classification. So coming to the follicular adenoma, this is a benign neoplasm without the nuclear features of papillary thyroid carcinoma. And generally it presents as a solitary tumor, but rarely presents as multiple nodules also. It's difficult to differentiate follicular adenoma from hyperplastic nodules both clinically and morphologically also. It is only the molecular analysis which differentiates these two entities, as follicular adenomas are clonal in origin and hyperplastic nodules are polyclonal. This is the histological picture of follicular adenoma, where we can see a well encapsulated tumor. This is the tumor and this is the normal parenchyma of the thyroid. Generally this tumor compresses the normal parenchyma, and the pattern of cells in the tumor, it could be either normofollicular, macrofollicular, microfollicular or trabecular. These are the various patterns seen in a follicular adenoma. This is the macrofollicular pattern where we see large follicles. This is the microfollicular pattern and this is the solid pattern. Variants of follicular adenomas are hyperfunctioning adenoma, follicular adenoma with papillary hyperplasia, lipoadenoma, follicular adenoma with bizarre nuclei, signet ring cell follicular adenoma, clear cell follicular adenoma, spindle cell follicular adenoma and black follicular adenoma. Oncocytic variant of follicular adenoma was mentioned in the earlier edition, but it is not here because this is given as a separate entity now. This is not a variant of follicular adenoma. excuse me. Two more variants, one is fetal adenoma and the other is mucinous follicular adenoma. They are also not entered here because these two are now presented as patterns in classic follicular adenoma. And this follicular adenoma carries an excellent prognosis and poses no further risk once they are completely removed. Coming to the next entity, which is hyalinizing trabecular tumor. This is presented as a separate entity and not under the category of follicular adenoma and related tumors. As the name suggests, it presents with large trabeculae or elongated or polygonal cells, and it presents as intratrabecular and intertrabecular hyaline material. And this tumor has predilection for the right lobe, and it carries a good prognosis because only a single malignant case has been reported at the time of publication of this edition. This is a histological picture of hyalinizing trabecular tumor, where we can see the pattern of arrangement is trabeculae with presence of lot of hyalinization. And on high power, we can see the nuclear features of papillary thyroid carcinoma with presence of these pseudo-inclusions, elongated nuclei, these pseudo-inclusions. And so, in FNAC, one can confuse them with the papillary thyroid carcinoma because of the presence of nuclear features of PTC. This is the past staining done in a case of hyalinizing trabecular tumor, which shows past positivity in the hyalinization. There is a relationship with the relationship of hyalinizing trabecular tumor with the papillary thyroid carcinoma because of the detection of RET PTC rearrangement and RET immunoreactivity. But the mutations of RAS and BRAF were not detected, and also microRNA profiling could not support the link. Moreover, hyalinizing trabecular tumor carries an extremely good prognosis with only one documented case of distant metastasis so far. Coming to the new group and very important group, which is other encapsulated follicular pattern thyroid tumors. It is the most important and controversial concept which is introduced in this new classification of thyroid tumors. This classification recommended the nomenclature of encapsulated follicular pattern tumors on the basis of two important features. First is presence or absence of nuclear features of papillary thyroid carcinoma, and second is the capsular and vascular invasion. So it is called as borderline tumor group also. And it includes three entities. First is follicular tumor of uncertain malignant potential, FTUMP. Second is well differentiated tumor of uncertain malignant potential, WDT-UMP. And third is non-invasive follicular thyroid neoplasm with papillary-like nuclear features, NIFTP. So it's very important, as these are new entities, so it's important to remember these names and know the diagnostic criteria for these entities. So proceed further. As I said, two important features are important for the categorization of these tumors. So in well differentiated tumor of uncertain malignant potential, as the name suggests, it is uncertain malignant potential. So the capsular and vascular invasion will be questionable here, and nuclear features of PTC will be present. Okay. Then comes the follicular tumor of uncertain malignant potential. Again, it's uncertain malignant potential, so the criteria of malignancy, that is capsular and vascular invasion, will be questionable. Okay. And nuclear features of PTC will be absent. Then comes the third group, NIFTP. What happens here? As the name suggests, it is non-invasive, so the features of invasion will be absent with papillary-like nuclear features. So the papillary-like features of nucleus will be present. And here we can see through this table that follicular tumor of uncertain malignant potential falls between follicular carcinoma and follicular adenoma, as carcinoma has invasion of capsule and vessel, and adenoma, in adenoma it is absent. Okay, coming to the follicular tumor of uncertain malignant potential, as we have read, it has no PTC type nuclear changes, questionable invasion of vessels and capsule, and it is intermediate between adenomas and follicular carcinomas. Then second is well differentiated tumor of uncertain malignant potential. So the features of papillary thyroid carcinoma are either well or partially developed. And second, the vascular and capsular invasion is again questionable. Now I am again and again telling the questionable vascular and capsular invasion. What does it mean? This capsular invasion and vascular invasion is given in the earlier edition of 2004 with a very well diagram also. But what is the questionable vascular capsular invasion? When tumor invades into but not through the capsule with or without mushrooming into it, it is called as questionable capsular invasion. It is identified as isolated nests confined within the fibrous capsule. This is a capsule of the tumor and this is the tumor present. When the tumor goes into the capsule but it has not invaded through the capsule, so it is called as questionable capsular invasion. This is a histological picture where this is the tumor. It has gone into the capsule but has not invaded through the capsule, so it is a questionable capsular invasion. Coming to the questionable vascular invasion, when the smooth contoured tumor cell nest located within the vascular space of tumor capsule but it lacks the endothelial covering and associated thrombus, and when tumor nest is seen in a fibrous capsule abutting a blood vessel. Okay, tumor is seen in the capsule near the blood vessel but not inside the blood vessel. That is called as questionable vascular invasion. Like here, these are the tumor cells and this is a blood vessel, but it is questionable because the tumor cells are just abutting the blood vessels and not into the blood vessel. Now coming to the third entity, which is called as non-invasive follicular thyroid neoplasm with papillary-like nuclear features, NIFTP. It was formerly called as non-invasive encapsulated follicular variant of PTC. So earlier it was a variant of papillary thyroid carcinoma, but now it is given a separate entity because NIFTP carries a better prognosis compared to the papillary thyroid carcinoma. Now there is a definite diagnostic criteria for NIFTP. It includes encapsulation or clear demarcation of the tumor from rest of the tissue. There should be a follicular growth pattern with all of the following: very less papillae, less than 1% or no papillae. There should be no psammoma bodies, and solid trabecular or insular growth pattern should be less than 30%. The next is nuclear features of papillary thyroid carcinoma should be present with a nuclear score of 2 to 3. I'll talk about this score in my next slide. No lymphovascular or capsular invasion, no tumor necrosis, no high mitotic activity. So for the nuclear score of PTC, three important features are seen. First is size and shape of nuclei. Here we see enlargement, elongation, overlapping. Second is membrane irregularities, where we see irregular contours, grooves, intranuclear cytoplasmic inclusions. And third is chromatin features, where we see chromatin clearing, margination to nuclear membrane, and glassy nuclei. All these three features are given a score of 0 or 1. 0 for absence of these features, and 1 for presence of these features. And a total score varies from 0 to 0 and 3. Depending on this 3-point scoring scheme, a score of 2 to 3 is required for diagnosis of NIFTP. Now, NIFTP is needed to be differentiated from both the benign and malignant entities, and these are it is differentiated from follicular adenoma and hyperplastic nodule by presence of nuclear features of PTC, and it is differentiated from conventional papillary thyroid carcinoma by presence of papillae. As I just mentioned, the NIFTP either contains no papillae or papillae less than 1%. And third is differentiated from invasive encapsulated follicular variant of PTC by the absence of, it is differentiated from this by the absence of capsular and vascular invasion. Now coming to the papillary carcinoma thyroid. As we all know, this is most common endocrine malignancy seen routinely, and it shows follicular cell differentiation and set of distinctive nuclear features, all the features which I discussed in the previous slides. The important features which are seen in PTC are papillae, invasion, and cytological features of PTC. Now, the changes in nuclei are seen in size and shape, membrane, and chromatin, and all these changes are needed to be seen at the edge of the tumor with those of the normal thyroid tissue, because this is the point, this is the area where we can easily differentiate the things. This is a histological picture of papillary thyroid carcinoma showing a solid pattern of growth. And this is also papillary thyroid carcinoma where papillary pattern is seen merging with the follicular pattern. And one important thing is sprinkling sign. What is this sprinkling sign? This is a sprinkling sign is seen in papillary thyroid carcinoma where minute neoplastic follicles are seen scattered in the background of normal follicles, and this sprinkling sign is a feature of papillary thyroid carcinoma. Coming to the variants of papillary thyroid carcinoma, all these are variants of papillary thyroid carcinoma. And hobnail variant, this is a new variant which is mentioned in this edition, so we should know all these names of all these variants and their features. Now I'll describe only the hobnail variant as it is new, and it has aggressive histological behavior also with presence of necrosis, mitosis, lymphatic invasion. It has a higher rate of recurrence and high mortality also. This is a histological picture where we can see large cells with abundant eosinophilic cytoplasm with the pushing of the nucleus to the luminal side, giving the appearance of a hobnail. Coming to the Hurdle cell or oncocytic tumors, these are the neoplasms composed of oncocytic cells with granular cytoplasm, and this oncocytic cell contains mitochondria in the cytoplasm with loss of nuclear polarity, and these in appearance they look like other mitochondria containing cells, but the difference is in Hurdle cell or oncocytic cells there is loss of nuclear polarity, and in mitochondria rich cells this loss of nuclear polarity is not seen. So we should know that mitochondria rich tumors are papillary thyroid carcinoma with tall cell variant, Warthin-like variant, and hobnail variant. They all have similar appearance like that of Hurdle cells, but they are mitochondria rich cells and not actual the oncocytic cells. These oncocytic cells, they show calcification within colloid but not psammoma bodies. They are of two types, adenoma and carcinoma, depending on the invasion of vascular and capsular invasion. So this is the Hurdle cell adenoma, showing these large cells with presence of abundant eosinophilic granular cytoplasm, and this is the histological picture of Hurdle cell carcinoma with the growth pattern with a trabecular growth pattern, which is more common in Hurdle cell carcinoma compared to the adenoma. uh, on high power we can see the colloid is present in the center of the follicle with presence of these calcifications. So these calcifications should not be confused with Samoma body seen in PTC. And this is also a picture of Hurdle cell carcinoma, where we see these Hurdle cells along with the cells showing high NC ratios, and these Hurdle cells showing high NC ratio, they differentiate them from Hurdle cell carcinoma from adenomas. Coming to the follicular thyroid carcinoma, the diagnosis of follicular thyroid carcinoma needs demonstration of vascular and capsular invasion in absence of nuclear features of PTC. In this new edition, the follicular carcinomas are divided into three groups: minimally invasive, where they invade only capsule; encapsulated angioinvasive follicular carcinoma, where blood vessels are also invaded. Then comes the third group, which is widely invasive, which invades extrathyroidal tissue also, and it carries a worse prognosis. Now, vascular invasion has bad impact on the prognosis of follicular thyroid carcinomas, and the number of vessels involved, that also carries importance, because when less than 4 vessels are involved, that carries comparatively better prognosis compared to those with extensive vascular invasion. The traditionally and according to the Armed Force Institute of Pathology, only 2 groups were there, and now in WHO 2017, 3 groups are given to the follicular thyroid carcinomas. This is a picture which shows the vascular invasion in follicular thyroid carcinoma. This is a blood vessel present in the capsule, and this is the tumor lined by the endothelium. So it is called as true invasion, true vascular invasion. And this is the capsular invasion. This is the capsule. It is invaded by the tumor, and tumor is present. A tumor has invaded the capsule, so it is also the capsular invasion seen in follicular thyroid carcinomas. Variants of follicular thyroid carcinomas are clear cell, signet ring cell, follicular carcinoma with glomeruloid pattern, and spindle cell follicular carcinoma. In the earlier edition, oncocytic variant was also in the follicular group, but now it has been removed because oncocytic entity is a separate entity now. Coming to the next carcinoma, which is poorly differentiated thyroid carcinoma. As the name suggests, it is intermediate between the differentiated and anaplastic carcinoma, although it has a limited evidence of follicular cell differentiation. An algorithm is given for the diagnosis of poorly differentiated carcinoma using Turin consensus criteria. And what is that? Whenever there is malignant thyroid tumor of follicular cells is seen under microscope, then we will see the pattern, whether the pattern of solid, trabecular or insular is seen or not. If it is not seen, then it is follicular or papillary variant carcinomas, and if this pattern is seen, then we will see the nuclear features of papillary thyroid carcinoma. If the nuclear features are not seen, then we will go and see the more aggressive features, which include convoluted nuclei, necrosis and mitosis. If all these features are present, then we will classify it as poorly differentiated carcinoma. So we can give the histological criteria as under. First of all, a diagnosis of carcinoma of follicular cell derivation should be there. Solid, insular and trabecular pattern is there. There should be absence of conventional nuclear features of PTC. And last is, at least one of these 3 features should be present. First is convoluted nuclei. Second is a high mitosis of more than equal to 3 per 10 high power field and tumor necrosis. This is a histological picture of poorly differentiated carcinoma with insular pattern of growth, and this picture shows trabecular pattern of growth without the presence of nuclear features of PTC. Then comes the anaplastic carcinoma. This is a highly aggressive thyroid malignancy composed of undifferentiated follicular thyroid cells. Most of the patients die within the year of diagnosis, and this cancer may arise de novo or transform from the pre-existing differentiated carcinomas, especially papillary type. This tumor is positive for CK and negative for TTF. Though PAX8 is seen in shows positivity in 50% of tumors, and this is used to confirm the thyroid origin of the tumor, as TTF is negative in this carcinoma. Three important patterns are seen in anaplastic carcinoma. These are sarcomatoid, giant cell, and epithelial pattern. Common to these all three forms are necrosis, high mitotic rate, and infiltrative pattern of growth. This is a histological picture of anaplastic carcinoma with spindle cells and malignant epithelioid cells and multinucleated giant cells. This is also anaplastic carcinoma showing squamous morphology. So it needs to be differentiated from squamous cell carcinomas of the thyroid also. Now, what happens in squamous cell carcinoma thyroid? As I just mentioned, it is similar to anaplastic carcinoma clinically, histologically, and prognostically. But in squamous cell carcinoma, the predominant component is squamous cells, and squamous cell carcinoma is positive for PAX8 and P53. So PAX8 helps in differentiating from secondary squamous cell carcinomas to thyroid. Now, in the end, the summary of the new edition of thyroid tumors classification by WHO is significant revisions are made in non-medullary thyroid tumors in this edition. Major modifications are seen in follicular derived neoplasms. A very important group is added, that is borderline tumor group, which includes three entities: FTUMP, follicular tumor of uncertain malignant potential; well differentiated tumor of uncertain malignant potential; non-invasive follicular thyroid neoplasms with papillary like nuclear features. All these entities are important to remember because these are new and frequently asked. Then Hurdle cell tumors are separated from follicular neoplasms. Then follicular carcinomas are divided into three groups: minimally invasive, encapsulated angioinvasive, and widely invasive. Papillary carcinoma has a total 15 variants, hobnail variant being the new one added in this edition only. And Turing criteria is used for the diagnosis of poorly differentiated carcinomas of the thyroid. I hope this topic will make you understand the changes made in thyroid tumor classification by WHO. Thank you so much.